Thanks for clicking. We have some great big updates on the iProRealty scandal, where a GTA real estate brokerage took $10.5 million worth of client funds, informed the regulator, RECO, in May, which subsequently let that brokerage continue to operate for 3 months before alerting the public, let the founders off scot-free for that fraud, helped iPro's agents transfer to a new real estate brokerage, iCloud Realty, a new brokerage which iPro's founder, Rui Alves, says that he will be a part of, which would make sense as his wife is now working there as well.
Hey, you're doing a great job.
But we do have some big updates. In addition to a lawsuit filed by former managers at iPro, the regulator has now filed affidavits with the court, telling the court what the regulator knows about the process thus far. And remember, those are affidavits, meaning the regulator can't lie.
What was it like?
So what I want to do today is go over these updates for the iProRealty scandal, take a look at what's not being covered by the media, and then go over some implications. As we'll see today, there are still a lot of unanswered questions, like what's going to be done about the regulator, but we will obviously continue to track how this all plays out on this channel. Make sure you click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates, but for now, let's get into these updates. First and most interesting, it's been alleged in one of the lawsuits by the former managers at iPro that some of the missing money from the fraud went toward renovation of a waterfront property owned by Alves's wife, Joselle. That's Joselle Alves, a real estate broker at iCloud, the new real estate brokerage to which RECO, the regulator, helped move 2,400 iPro agents while they were keeping the fraud secret from the public. So just so we're clear, if these allegations prove to be true, then some of that missing money, some of that $10.5 million went towards significant renovations at the home of Joselle Alves, the founder's wife, whom the regulator helped to get transferred over to a new real estate brokerage while keeping all of these wrongdoings secret. This regulator. We'll get there though. And it's not just that $10.5 million that we all initially thought it was. In an affidavit filed by a forensic audit expert and chartered professional accountant, they found that more than $17 million was moved out of the trust accounts, being commingled with general brokerage funds. And that's a real problem, as the trust account is supposed to be separate. That's not the brokerage's money to spend.
It's our money. Our money.
But once that money started getting intermingled with brokerage funds, all sorts of checks went out, including but not limited to $56,000 written to cash, a check to a Venetian banquet hall, $846K to running the brokerage, and about $7.4 million to iProRealty pay. Further, and this is according to Real Estate Magazine, Joselle's private real estate corporation received $41,000 in payments, while the wife of the other founder, Melly Colucci, also received $43,000 from iPro's general accounts. So at least they tried to keep it somewhat equal.
Fair's fair.
And if all this sounds bad, it's because it is, but fear not though. RECO, after a good 3 or 4 months, is now on the case, with its chair saying that RECO is committed to seeking justice for affected agents and consumers by using all available remedies to recover the funds that should have remained in trust. Well, you are now, after letting them off basically scot-free and keeping the fraud from the public.
We can't have this. It's a behavior that has to stop.
Regardless, on Monday, Ontario Superior Court granted an order to freeze and trace the assets and accounts of iProRealty's co-founders and their related companies. Not that the founders went without a fight. Their lawyer argued that this order, this freezing of assets, breached an agreement made on August 8th where RECO agreed to not take any further administrative action against them after they diverted $10.5 million from their brokerage's trust accounts. This, of course, refers to the agreement made between RECO, the regulator, and these guys that did the fraud, not to pursue any further charges. Did these guys just think that they were going to get away with it? Honestly, the ego on people in the real estate industry. You're not CEOs of some multinational corporation. You're not Jordan Belfort. It's residential real estate in Canada. Relax. Regardless, unlike the regulator up until very recently, the courts are not having any of it, noting that the order will show where homebuyers' deposits, agent commissions, and trust funds actually went, and make sure money isn't hidden, depleted, or moved out of jurisdiction. Further adding that anyone acting on behalf of or with Alves, Colucci, and their companies are restrained from directly or indirectly selling, removing, or transferring assets, whether or not they are solely or jointly owned. Meaning, these guys or anyone related to these guys can't start moving or hiding assets. It's court ordered. So yeah, the court is moving fairly quickly, fairly swiftly, so people can get their money back. Now just imagine had the real estate regulator, obviously out to protect consumers, had done something similar. Not have taken 3 months before alerting the public to the fraud.
It's best not to think about it.
Yeah. On that, the real estate industry is continuing to feign outrage, with REIA calling for ombudsman oversight right along with the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. And their media puppets are going right along with the show, mentioned in a number of articles, though not in a single one of those articles does it mention what that reform would entail. Now, regular viewers of this channel would know that that reform is in fact a toothless reform, as we covered it at the beginning of the month. The Ombudsman is not a government department. It can investigate, but it cannot enforce anything. And those two caveats are not mentioned in any of the articles demonstrating the real estate industry's true outrage with its regulator. I found something on Move Smartly calling for the ousting of RECO's board, and Mark Morris has discussed RECO's privilege of self-regulation, but the rest of the media's approach appears to be taking its cue from the real estate industry, noting the push for the reform, but not explaining it. How many readers know off the bat what an ombudsman can and can't do? Then again, I suppose it's always possible the media doesn't know what an ombudsman can and can't do. We're always just trying to find that balance and trying to assess their motives. Corrupt or incompetent?
You can do both.
So now we're starting to get a much more clear idea as to where all of that money went. What we thought was $10.5 million turns out it was 17. Some reports say it could have been closer to 30. All of this, we're all waiting for all of the details to come out. But what is clear, what is most clear, and why I continue to cover this, as the rest of it's really just scandal, the tidbits don't matter in the grand scheme of things, but why I continue to cover it, as it shows the extent to which RECO, the real estate regulator, continued to fall completely on its face. And the court intervening, like a month after this stuff became public, freezing all of the funds, and these founders arguing that their funds shouldn't even be frozen due to an agreement they made with the regulator at the beginning of August.
You gave me your word.
The regulator let this nonsense go on for months, didn't say a word, let the public continue to transact with this brokerage, and now these real estate brokerage owners, these real estate agents, are arguing with the court that they're going to get their accounts frozen. It's the ego of an industry that's in dire need of a check.
I don't take checks.
My guess is that check isn't coming anytime soon. The media isn't going to call for it. They're going right along with what the real estate industry tells them to. News at 11. The Ford government has yet to take control over this entire process, which, given the extent to which RECO has absolutely no idea what it's doing, or maybe it does, is astounding to me that the Ford government is allowing this to continue. With that said, how all of this plays out, if we're going to see any real actual reform at the regulator, remains to be seen, but we will obviously continue to track how it plays out on this channel. Make sure you click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates, but for now, thanks so much for watching.